Warren Buffett orders a medium rare steak with hash browns and a cherry Coke at Smith & Wollensky. Bill Gates breaks open Oreo cookies for breakfast. Jeff Bezos walks into McDonald's like any other customer. These are not punchlines to a bad joke about billionaires, but actual documented moments that reveal something profound about the dining habits of the truly wealthy. While most people assume the rich constantly dine at Michelin-starred restaurants, the reality is far more nuanced and strategic. When Buffett paid $650 for a charity lunch in 2007, he demonstrated something crucial. The wealthy understand that dining is never just about food. It is about relationships, influence, and the subtle art of power. The way a man carries himself at a restaurant speaks volumes about his character, his success, and his understanding of true leverage in business and life. Here is what separates the wealthy from everyone else. They have mastered the silent language of dining. Fine dining establishments operate on countless systems and procedures designed to maximize comfort for guests. But the wealthy understand these unspoken rules intuitively. They have developed silent habits that separate them from the crowd, habits that signal their status without a single word. These are not the flashy displays of new money throwing cash around for attention. The ultra-wealthy are typically unassuming and polite. They do not have to prove anything to anyone, but they know you know who they are. The new money types that want to show off their wealth throw money around and can be exhausting and obnoxious. What you are about to discover are the 10 silent habits that distinguish men of true wealth and elegance when they dine out. These behaviors reveal a deeper understanding of sophistication, one that money alone cannot buy, but intelligence and experience can cultivate. More importantly, these are habits that any man can adopt to elevate his own presence and influence. Habit 1. They never check prices. While the average American spends $191 per month dining out, with most people carefully considering costs between $11 to $20 per person, wealthy men operate from a fundamentally different mindset. They do not scan menus for prices or calculate costs in their heads. This behavior stems not from carelessness, but from strategic thinking. When Warren Buffett ordered his medium-rare steak with hash browns and cherry Coke at Smith & Wollensky, he never glanced at the price. The lunch cost $650,000, but the price was irrelevant to him. What mattered was the experience, the relationship building, and the charitable impact. This is how the wealthy think. They focus on value, not cost. When a man has reached a certain level of financial success, his time becomes infinitely more valuable than the difference between a $45 steak and a $75 steak. The wealthy understand that obsessing over menu prices in front of business associates or romantic partners diminishes their perceived status and negotiating power. At Rome's Hotel Hassler, known for its restaurant Imago, wealthy diners have been observed ordering $20,000 worth of 1982 Bordeaux just to taste the differences between 7 bottles. This behavior demonstrates how the truly wealthy view dining as an investment in experience and knowledge rather than mere consumption. The habit extends beyond restaurants. Wealthy men understand that constantly checking prices signals scarcity thinking, the opposite of the abundance mindset that created their success. They have shifted from a consumer mentality to an investor mentality, even when ordering dinner. Habit 2. They always arrive. Exactly on time. While average diners are willing to wait up to 26 minutes for a table without a reservation, wealthy men never put themselves in this position. They understand that punctuality is not just about respect, it is about control and strategic positioning. Confirming your booking and checking the address may seem boring and obvious, but it is probably the most important step to get right. Mess this up, and you will not even make it to canapés. The wealthy plan their dining experiences like military operations. They confirm reservations earlier in the day, account for traffic and parking, and arrive precisely when expected. This habit serves multiple purposes. It demonstrates respect for their dining companions, ensures they receive the best service from restaurant staff, and maintains their reputation for reliability. When you arrive late, you immediately place yourself in a position of disadvantage. Restaurant staff form their first impression based on your punctuality, and that impression affects every subsequent interaction. Wealthy men understand that being early is on time, being on time is late, and being late is completely unacceptable. This punctuality extends to every aspect of the dining experience. They arrive prepared with knowledge about the restaurant, its specialties, and even key staff members. This preparation allows them to focus entirely on their dining companions and business objectives, rather than fumbling through logistics. The habit of punctuality signals something deeper about character. It shows discipline, respect for others, and the ability to manage complex schedules effectively. These are the qualities that create and maintain wealth, and they are on full display in something as simple as restaurant arrival times. Habit 3. They let others order. First, good table manners are second nature to most, but especially sacred in a restaurant, so be mindful when you masticate in public, and everyone will be quietly appreciative. However, wealthy men take this concept several steps further through strategic ordering behavior. The truly wealthy understand that power often lies in restraint and observation. By allowing others to order first, they gather valuable intelligence about their dining companions. They observe decision-making processes, note price sensitivity, and gauge personality traits through menu choices. This habit also prevents the awkward situation where their expensive selections might make others uncomfortable or feel pressured to spend more than they intended. A wealthy man ordering a $200 bottle of wine first might intimidate business partners or create social tension. By waiting, he can gauge the table's appetite for luxury and adjust accordingly. When dining with potential business partners, this strategy becomes even more valuable. How someone orders reveals their personality. Are they decisive or indecisive? Do they ask many questions or trust the establishment? Do they show consideration for others or focus solely on their own preferences? At high-end restaurants, wealthy diners often make special requests, such as asking for dishes to be served on white plates instead of black porcelain due to personal preferences. By observing others first, they can make their own requests seem more reasonable and avoid appearing demanding. This ordering strategy also allows wealthy men to demonstrate generosity naturally. After hearing others' choices, they might suggest sharing a premium appetizer or upgrading the wine selection for the table. This generosity appears spontaneous rather than calculated, which is far more effective for building relationships and influence. Habit 4. They never photograph their food. Keep your phone in your goddamn pocket, whether you are here to lock down a big business deal or taking your best gal out for a fancy feast. There is no place for your smartphone at the dinner table. While social media has made food photography ubiquitous, wealthy men understand that this behavior signals insecurity and inexperience with fine dining. They have moved beyond the need to document their experiences for external validation. The habit of not photographing food demonstrates several important principles. First, it shows complete presence and engagement with dining companions. Second, it signals that fine dining is a regular part of their lifestyle rather than a special occasion worthy of documentation. Third, it maintains privacy and discretion, values that become increasingly important as wealth grows. When VIPs or famous actors dine at high-end restaurants, the rule to protect them is always to deny they were there. Perhaps someone was sitting at a table next to Spielberg or Robert Redford. If they asked, staff had to cover for them. Wealthy men understand and respect this culture of discretion. Instead of documenting their meals, wealthy men focus on creating memorable experiences through conversation and connection. They ask thoughtful questions about ingredients, preparation methods, and wine pairings, not for social media content, but for genuine knowledge and appreciation. This habit extends to a broader philosophy about consumption. The wealthy understand that true luxury lies in the experience itself, not in broadcasting that experience to others. They have moved beyond the need for external validation and instead focus on internal satisfaction and meaningful connections. The absence of phone photography also demonstrates confidence and security. They do not need to prove their lifestyle choices to anyone else because their success speaks for itself through their actions and presence rather than their social media posts. Habit 5. They always remember names. The most expensive meal means nothing if you cannot remember the name of the person serving it. Wealthy men have mastered the art of remembering names, not just of their dining companions, but of restaurant staff, from the maître d' to the sommelier to their primary server. Your server for the evening in a high-class venue gets paid about the same hourly wage as somebody on the counter at McDonald's and is expected to remember every ingredient in over a dozen dishes, a plethora of different cheeses, wines, service protocols, and also your name. This habit serves multiple strategic purposes. First, it creates an immediate personal connection that often results in elevated service throughout the evening. Second, it demonstrates respect and emotional intelligence, qualities that are essential for business success. Third, it builds a network of relationships that can be valuable for future reservations and recommendations. When a wealthy man returns to a restaurant and greets the staff by name, it signals that he is a valued regular customer who should receive special attention. This recognition often translates into better tables, complimentary tastings, and insider knowledge about seasonal specialties or limited offerings. The habit of remembering names also extends to fellow diners at other tables. Wealthy men often know other successful individuals who frequent the same establishments. A casual acknowledgement or brief conversation can lead to business opportunities, partnerships, or valuable connections. This memory skill is not accidental. It is deliberately cultivated through practice and systems. Many wealthy individuals use mental techniques or discrete notes to remember names and personal details. They understand that people feel valued when remembered, and this feeling creates loyalty and goodwill that can be invaluable in business relationships. The habit becomes particularly powerful when combined with genuine interest in others. Wealthy men ask follow-up questions about previous conversations, remember personal details shared months earlier, and demonstrate that they view service staff as individuals worthy of respect and attention. Habit 6. They control the wine selection. If you do not know what you want and you are not driving home, then go for a wine pairing. You will get a new glass with each course, and if you feel like it is a bit much, then there is no shame in not polishing off every last drop. The wine selection process reveals more about a man's sophistication and strategic thinking than perhaps any other aspect of fine dining. Wealthy men approach wine selection not as a chance to show off their knowledge, but as an opportunity to demonstrate leadership and consideration for others. At La Pergola, a regular customer once studied the 1982 Bordeaux list for a long time before ordering 7 bottles for himself to taste the difference between them. The bill was over €20,000. However, this type of extravagant display is actually the exception rather than the rule among the truly wealthy. The sophisticated approach involves consulting with the sommelier while considering the preferences and comfort levels of all dining companions. A wealthy man might quietly ask about budget-friendly options that still offer exceptional quality, ensuring that business associates or friends do not feel uncomfortable about expense levels. They understand that wine selection is about enhancement, not domination. The goal is to find wines that complement both the food and the conversation, creating an atmosphere that facilitates their larger objectives for the evening. This control extends to the tasting ritual itself. When the sommelier pours out that little bit for you to try, do not drink it. It is so you can ascertain whether or not the bottle is corked or oxidized. Your sommelier will always check this themselves first, so it is really just a formality. Wealthy men handle this moment with quiet confidence, neither making a show of their wine knowledge nor appearing intimidated by the process. They understand that this ritual is about quality assurance, not performance, and they treat it accordingly. The wine selection habit also demonstrates financial acumen. Rather than automatically ordering the most expensive bottles, wealthy men often seek exceptional value, wines that offer remarkable quality relative to their price. This approach shows sophistication and intelligence while also demonstrating the financial discipline that likely contributed to their success. Habit 7. They never complain publicly. If you do not like something, be discreet. This principle guides how wealthy men handle any issues that arise during their dining experience. They understand that public complaints diminish their status and create uncomfortable situations for everyone present. The wealthy have learned that problems are opportunities to demonstrate grace, leadership, and problem-solving skills. When food arrives overcooked or service falls short of expectations, they handle the situation with quiet dignity that often impresses their dining companions more than a perfect meal would have. Their approach involves discreet communication with appropriate staff members. They might quietly mention an issue to their server or request a brief conversation with the manager, but they never create a scene or allow problems to dominate the evening's conversation. This habit reflects a deeper understanding of human psychology and social dynamics. Public complaints make everyone at the table uncomfortable and can damage relationships with dining companions who may feel guilty about the restaurant choice or embarrassed by the confrontation. The ultra-wealthy are typically unassuming and usually very polite. They do not have to prove anything to anyone, but they know you know who they are. This confidence allows them to address problems without feeling the need to assert dominance or demand immediate satisfaction. When issues do arise, wealthy men often turn them into opportunities for connection and rapport building. They might use humor to diffuse tension, show empathy for overworked staff, or demonstrate leadership by ensuring their dining companions remain comfortable despite any service problems. The habit of handling complaints discreetly also protects their reputation within the restaurant industry. Establishments remember customers who create problems, and wealthy men understand that maintaining positive relationships with high-end venues is valuable for future business entertainment and personal dining experiences. Habit 8. They tip strategically, not generously. Here is where most people get it wrong about wealthy men and tipping. The assumption is that rich men throw money around carelessly, but the reality is far more sophisticated. When Guy Spear dined with Warren Buffett, he observed something crucial. Buffett's frugality is legendary. Yet, he was extraordinarily generous in the way he tipped our waiters. It really demonstrated to me you can be frugal without being stingy. The wealthy do not tip to show off. They tip strategically. They understand that exceptional service creates value that extends far beyond a single meal. When they tip well, it is an investment in future experiences, not a display of wealth. This strategic approach involves multiple layers of thinking. First, they recognize that restaurant staff often depend on tips for their livelihood, and that generous tipping creates goodwill that benefits not only their current visit, but also future dining experiences at the same establishment. Second, they understand the psychology of service. A well-timed tip at the beginning of a meal can transform the entire dining experience. Staff members become partners in creating an exceptional evening rather than just service providers going through the motions. Third, they recognize that tipping behavior is observed by their dining companions. How a man treats service staff reveals his character more clearly than any business presentation or expensive watch. It demonstrates whether he respects people regardless of their position in the social hierarchy. The wealthy also understand the difference between tipping and showing off. New money might tip $500 on a $200 check to impress a date. Old money tips appropriately but consistently, building relationships that create value over time. This habit extends beyond the primary server to include the sommelier, maitre d', and even coat check attendants. Wealthy men understand that exceptional dining experiences require a team effort, and they reward that team accordingly while maintaining their reputation for fairness and class. Habit 9. They master the art of saying no. Warren Buffett once revealed something profound during his charity lunch. He showed Guy Spear and Monish Pabrai his diary, which was almost completely empty. He likes to leave his time unstructured and to leave plenty of room for spontaneity, Spear recalled. This is not laziness. This is the ultimate power move. The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Buffett lives by this principle, and it extends to every aspect of his life, including dining. He says no to elaborate 7-course meals when a steak and hash browns will suffice. He says no to wine pairings when a cherry Coke better suits his preferences. This habit manifests in multiple ways during dining experiences. Wealthy men say no to restaurants that do not align with their objectives for the evening. They say no to menu items that do not appeal to them, regardless of recommendations. They say no to conversations that drift into unproductive territory. But here is the key. They say no with grace and confidence. When Buffett politely declined expensive wine during his charity lunch, he did not make excuses or apologize. He simply ordered what he wanted and moved on. This behavior demonstrates supreme confidence and self-knowledge. The ability to say no extends to social pressure as well. Wealthy men do not feel compelled to order the most expensive items to impress others. They do not participate in drinking competitions or feel obligated to match others' consumption levels. They make decisions based on their own preferences and objectives. This habit requires understanding that saying no to one thing means saying yes to something more important. When wealthy men decline lengthy business dinners, they are saying yes to time with family or personal interests. When they refuse to eat foods they do not enjoy, they are saying yes to meals that bring them genuine pleasure. The power of no becomes especially evident in group dining situations. While others might reluctantly agree to restaurants or menu choices to avoid conflict, wealthy men understand that their time and comfort are valuable. They suggest alternatives or gracefully withdraw from situations that do not serve their interests. Habit 10. They understand food is secondary. Here is the ultimate secret that separates wealthy men from everyone else. They understand that dining out is never really about the food. When Warren Buffett jokes that he does not eat anything he would not have touched when he was 5 years old, he's revealing a profound truth about priority and focus. Buffett's eating habits are legendary for their simplicity. He downs 3 cans of Coke before leaving for work. He may have ice cream for breakfast or Utz potato chips. His close friend Bill Gates says Buffett basically stuck to eating what he liked when he was 6 years old. Yet this man built one of the largest fortunes in history. The wealthy understand that food is simply fuel for what really matters: relationships, deals, and influence. While others obsess over Instagram-worthy presentations or exotic ingredients, wealthy men focus on the conversation, the networking opportunities, and the strategic objectives for the evening. This habit extends to their restaurant choices as well. Despite their wealth, many billionaires prefer simple establishments where they can focus on business without distraction. The complexity of the menu matters far less than the quality of the dialogue. When wealthy men do dine at high-end establishments, they are not there for the food experience. They are there for the status, the privacy, the service level, or the impression it makes on their guests. The actual meal is secondary to these strategic considerations. This understanding allows them to make dining decisions based on utility rather than indulgence. If a $10 burger serves their purposes better than a $200 tasting menu, they choose the burger without hesitation. They have moved beyond using food as a status symbol because they have more sophisticated ways to demonstrate their success. The habit also manifests in their behavior during meals. They do not photograph their food, spend excessive time discussing preparation methods, or get distracted by complex flavor profiles. Their attention remains focused on their dining companions and the business or relationship objectives for the evening. This final habit ties together all the previous behaviors into a cohesive philosophy. True power lies in understanding what actually matters and focusing your energy there. Food is just food, but the relationships you build and the influence you create over a meal can change your life and business forever. These 10 silent habits reveal a profound truth about wealth and success. True power lies not in flashy displays, but in quiet confidence, strategic thinking, and genuine respect for others. While dining trends continue to evolve, with Americans spending more than ever on restaurant experiences, the fundamental principles of elegant behavior remain constant. The wealthy understand that every dining experience is an opportunity to build relationships, to demonstrate character, to create positive impressions, and to invest in future success. They approach restaurants not as mere consumers, but as strategic players in a complex social and business ecosystem. These habits can be adopted by any man who aspires to greater success and sophistication. They cost nothing more than attention and discipline, yet they can transform how others perceive and respond to you in every dining situation. If you found value in these insights and want to transform your own elegance into power and success, subscribe to the Man of Elegance channel and leave a like on this video. Your path to sophisticated dining and personal success begins with the next meal you share with others. Remember, excellence is a habit, not an accident. The way you conduct yourself at a restaurant table reflects the same discipline and strategic thinking that builds wealth and success in every other area of life. What did you think of these dining secrets? Comment below with silent power if you recognize these habits in successful men you know, and let me know which habit you found most surprising.